Two guys have Minnesota sports flowing in their veins. Mackie and Judd on SKOR North and SKORNorth.com.
Welcome in to a Write That Down Wednesday.
Write it down. You like writing things down.
Write that down.
The only show in America going back years and years that actually puts statistics next to our predictions every single Wednesday. We've got the football Vikings related edition on Purple Daily. And gentlemen, before we dive in and explain this and get to the accountability session and everything, Royce Lewis is back and back with a vengeance in New York. Of course, he comes in and just hits a nuke in his first game back. He is still batting 1,000 for the season, right? Because he has 2 hits. He's drawn walks. He has not recorded an out in the 2 games he has played, I think. Or did he record one late in the game?
Was he the last out in the top of the 9? No. He is still batting 1,000, slashing 1,000, 1,000, 3,000, 4,000 OPS.
Pretty good.
Not bad. If you want to see the only player in Major League history to have a perfect batting average this late into a season, you can go to Target Field. Your Soda summer starts now with your Minnesota Twins. We got Prince Night coming up in 8 days. The first 5,000 fans on June 13th get a Prince cap. Twins.com/Prince if you want to get tickets to Prince Night, or if you just want to get tickets to any game, twins.com/tickets. Twins.com/tickets. So, gentlemen, how are we feeling here on this Write That Down Wednesday? We've got some stuff coming off the board here. We had our Jefferson stuff coming off the board on Purple Daily. Mm-hmm. How do we feel?
Not bad. I feel like it's we're in the time period where you do get some stuff off the board, but it stabilizes a bit. So I don't feel like we're in for a page and a half of potential hell for me, or in Declan's case, greatness, a page of greatness, a page of green.
We do have Timberwolves end of season stuff here, like end of playoff stuff.
Yeah.
To get to. So I'll explain how this works, and then we'll get to the accountability session. It's 3 predictions from everybody each week. They must be quantifiable. We keep track of batting averages and home runs. Those are the statistical categories. And then listeners, if you want to participate like our guy David is about to, you can send Declan a message through the SKOR North app. So we'll start with Judd's accountability. Not very good, Judd.
No, it's not
good, Bob.
Good. It's not
very
great,
good,
Bob.
Bob.
But at least it's not a page and a half.
It's about a half a page or so. You said Anthony Edwards would score at least 40 points at some point in a game against the Mavericks.
And you let me down.
Now he's going to go get into cyborg shape. Now, I love that he's like, I didn't really understand the level of shape needed to compete at that level in game 100.
I didn't need you to be in shape to drop 40 in one game.
Also true.
Yeah, he could have slopped his way to 40.
Exactly.
You said the Wolves would beat the Mavericks in advance to the NBA Finals.
Bad prediction. Very bad. Bad.
Said the White Sox would fire their skipper by June 1st.
They should have.
What are they up to now? 19 wins?
Yeah, I think they're clearly doing the old school Cubs, Astros, more recently Orioles thing, right?
Trust the process.
I mean, they're clearly just trying to lose
horrible.
as much as possible. But I mean, I think they must be embracing it.
There was a great exchange. Who's the new White Sox TV play-by-play guy? It's him and Steve Stone.
Yeah, I heard this. It's hilarious.
And he was, he's doing the classic, here we go, talking about White Sox baseball here. It's just real tough. The White Sox, Steve, just seem to keep catching teams at the wrong time. And Steve Stone, who never pulls punches, laughs. He goes, well, I guess that's part of it.
Yes. Well, and then the
well, I just can't catch a break. They're just catching all these red-hot teams. Oh, when's it going to end, Steve?
The Tommy Pham play at the plate thing was hilarious, too, because Schifrin's like, you don't want any part of this. You don't want any part of this.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, you're the play-by-play guy. Calm down.
Tommy Pham. Okay, Judd, you said also Anthony Edwards would win NBA Finals MVP this year.
Closer than I thought I would, so I'm...
Yeah, that was a prediction kind of halfway through the regular season, and it was considered like a wild Judd taking a shot, and then as it inched closer. And then we need some more information on this one. So it was reported yesterday by The Athletic that Tim Connolly and the Wolves have reached an agreement to basically push the opt-out to next summer. It's like a reworked agreement. Mm-hmm. So your prediction was Connolly will opt out of his contract, but will return for for a raise, for a bigger salary.
Right.
Do we know what the exact semantics of this are yet?
We do not know yet.
Okay. So he may not have opted out. They may have just pushed the opt out to next year. He may not have even gotten a raise.
That's the question. Yes. Did he get a raise? I saw the report from Shams and Johnny last night that we all saw. But I did not see specifics yet of one. Was there an opt out exercised at all? Because you're right about that. And then is he staying for $8 million? Did he get $10 million? So yes, there's a lot of questions here.
Okay, over to me. A lot of red here. It's not good. I said Kevin Garnett would show up to a Timberwolves playoff game. Disappointing. I get it. He hates Glenn Taylor. We all want Glenn Taylor gone, but we all still show up. Anthony Edwards will drop 50 or more in a playoff game. Wolves win game 5 by at least 15 points. Is there a typo in there? Thought I said Mavs.
Yeah, I was gonna say you could have gotten that
Declan
right.
Another classic Declan typo.
Nope, this one, not me.
I said Luka would get a technical foul in game 5. The only thing he would have gotten a technical for is over taunting Snoop Dogg on the baseline.
Who's crying now, MFer?
At some point in the series, Jaden McDaniels will have to be separated from Luka or Kyrie. Now, Kyle Anderson had to be separated. I think Rudy had to be separated, but not Jaden.
Yeah.
I said Ant would have the go-ahead bucket or free throw in the final 24 seconds of a playoff game. But I did redeem a little bit by telling you Royce Lewis would homer in his first game back with the Twins. Boy, did he ever. Just a rope to left field last night. He has such a sweet home run swing, man.
Oh,
when he hits a ball on a line to left field,
There might have been in mid-conversation post-dinner last night, me getting up out of my chair and doing a DX crotch shot in the living room when that ball left the bat. Mid-conversation, she was like, "What are you doing?" And I
break it down.
Went up and I just did a crotch shot in the middle of the living room. Down down 3-1 as well too. By the way, the home run wasn't
a low leverage home run on June 5th.
Let's move that July date back a little bit. Let's take some more time to see if you're really
in that moment while Declan's doing a crotch chop for a Tuesday, June 4th home run.
Yeah.
In a relatively meaningless regular season game.
Yeah.
Is his fiance thinking?
Well,
this might be the biggest.
The latest wedding. The latest wedding kerfuffle is we're getting all these gifts delivered to the house because the gifts now just show up. You don't bring gifts to the actual venue day anymore. That
people just
really happen.
Send you through your registry, right?
Yeah. And we can open the actual packaging because we don't know what's inside, but we're not allowed to open the actual gift itself until after the wedding, until everything is signed and delivered, and then we can start using the actual gifts, which I find
you just
a little
have a pile of unopened gifts in your place right now.
Wait, is that her rule or
it's
or
her rule that she got from my own sister?
So you're saying if somebody sends you a new blender, or a Ninja or an air fryer or something,
yep,
can't use it.
That you're not supposed to. I agree with this because it's a gift. I'm kind of on team sister and team Kelsey here, in that it's a wedding gift and the wedding hasn't happened yet. It's going to happen,
but what if
and
it's
we're all
something
excited
that you could
for
really use that day? I'm not saying open them all, but let's say.
But you're not buying. I'm not buying a hammock for the Goffs or whatever for them to use before they get married. It's a gift for the wedding celebration.
Sure. But let's say they're about to prepare a meal, and there's one.
My air fryer is hanging by a thread right now.
Yeah, exactly. And so you're hey, I'm not suggesting that you would open them
off. It's
all. But I mean,
awful.
I'm just
probably shouldn't be using the air fryer if I'm being completely honest.
Okay, well then
it's
if you
fire
get
hazard.
a new one,
yes, it is.
Oh, look at this.
Okay, listeners, by the way, we're going to go through the bad here. We have one of the greatest parlays in Write That Down history came off the board.
Nice.
Which we'll get to. But Jared said Wolves would get to the NBA Finals. Ant would average at least 33 points in the playoffs. It was 28. The Kaisers, our friends who are getting married this weekend, I believe.
That's right.
Said the Wolves would be playing in Game 2 of the Finals while they get married. Riley said the Wolves would win a playoff series they would get to at least the Western Conference Finals. And then in the third leg of the parlay, he said Ant will average 30 points per game in the playoff run. 28. Chase said Naz Reid will have at least one 20-point double-double in the playoffs. A bloodbath here. But Steve comes in with a 1, 2, 3, a 4-leg parlay. And some of the legs in the parlay have like multiple things in them.
This is nuts.
Steve said the Wolves would have at least one All-Star, 2 end-of-the-year award winners, 6th man and Defensive Player of the Year, 3 NBA team members. So Rudy and Jaden were All-NBA Defensive Team 1 and 2, and then Ant was All-NBA second team. A 4th seed or higher, so it's a 5-item parlay, and they'll play at least 5 games in the Western Conference Finals.
Wow.
Holy crap.
Wow.
And he said this way before the playoffs, obviously. He said this like toward the beginning of the year. Steve, dude, take a bow.
What's more than a Grand Slam home run prediction?
Yeah, Minneapolis
Dude,
Miracle wrapped with a Grand Slam, put in with a 200-foot shot for a goal. I don't know.
We've never
crazy.
seen anything like this.
A 5-item parlay
Impressive.
cashes in for Steve here.
But to your point, it's 5, but it's more than 5 because he tied things together within one prediction.
He
Unbelievable.
went as far as saying 3 NBA team members, 2 end-of-the-year award winners. So he could have said 1 for all these, and if he would have said 1 end-of-the-year award winner, 1 All-NBA team member or All-Defense, it still would have been a home run because it's a 5-item parlay. So Steve, dude, take a bow. Nice job, Steve. Okay, Declan said the Wolves would force a Game 6. Said Kay Adams and Shams would be acknowledged in a relationship by June 1st.
Did you see their little giggly self too on her show again like last week?
It's crazy.
Come on, you guys. We all know what's going on in here. We all know what's happening.
Shams is busy, dude. Shams is busy.
Yeah, busy with Kay.
Phil and I saw him. No, he was with Johnny last time I saw him.
Not in that sense, though.
Well,
No,
yeah,
but
that came out
way.
horribly wrong. I did not. That was a horrible phrasing, but you know what I mean.
I'm just saying.
Have you guys seen the golf relationship drama? Rory McIlroy and Amanda Balionis.
Oh yeah. It's great.
And
Funny.
it seemed like they kind of leaned into it. So if for anyone who hasn't followed, Rory McIlroy and then Amanda Balionis is like the main sideline reporter for CBS golf coverage. They both filed for divorce in the last like few months. And then there was people sleuthing on Reddit that like he was spending a lot of time in and around maybe where she's from, San Diego.
She lives in San Diego, yeah.
And then they did a post-round interview together in which they were like kind of smiling in a funny way, which now they might just be trolling people if they're just friends. But very interesting.
Yeah, I think he was hanging out in San Diego quite a bit, like right around where she lives now. And I mean,
Very interesting. Declan, you said a Timberwolves player, coach, or personnel would throw out a first pitch at a Twins game while the team is still in the playoffs. Didn't happen.
Did not.
But you did say Pablo Lopez would get back on track, allowing 3 runs or less in his last start. It was a 1-run performance with 16 swinging strikes, too, in that game. So Pablo Day is back. So with that, man, some great batting averages here. I'm still leading with a 404 average. Listeners at 395, Declan 375, Judd 296.
oh boy.
Listeners and myself tied with 7 home runs, Judd with 4, Declan with 3. So everyone is a nice start to the season here.
A rough year for me.
All time, Declan leads with a 361 average, Judd leads with 324 hits, listeners lead with 62 home runs.
I've gone Julian. Yeah. I've gone full Eddie Julian.
Dude, you're hitting like 300, right?
296 though. It's not that good.
It's early, man.
I'm the
it's
Tony
Super Bowl
Gwynn
to
of
Super Bowl.
I'm Tony Gwynn of this thing, and it's not good.
You're the Luis Ariz of this thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Did you see the stat? Some baseball reference throughout the stat that Luis Ariz is one of only 11 players in the history of baseball to wake up every single day of his major league career as a 300 hitter.
And he's on his 3rd team.
And at this point, mathematically, he's like a 327 career hitter. So unless somehow like he plummets for multiple years and drags the math down, he will remain one of 11 players in the history of baseball to wake up every day of his career as a 300 hitter.
Mm-hmm.
Leads the league in hits again. But yeah, third straight batting title on the horizon for that guy. He can't really play any defense, doesn't hit for any power, even like doubles, and isn't very fast. But yeah, everyone who sees him is like, he's amazing at this one thing, hitting singles and drawing walks, and that's great. But I'd still take him back on this team, with Julien struggling and who knows about Brooks Lee. Be nice to have Luis Arraez playing second, but I think I'd rather have Pablo Lopez as the number one starter.
I agree with that.
Okay, let's get David in here, our guest listener predictor, making his return after a 3-year hiatus. David, what's going on, dude?
Well, I'm kind of depressed as a Minnesota sports fan right now. The Vikings kind of rip my heart out all the time. The Timberwolves, obviously, don't want to talk about that, but
it was a fun season.
Yeah, Western Conference Finals, man.
You know what? I was on the bandwagon the whole time. I was finals or bust. We're beating the Celtics, and then, Luka and Kyrie.
Yeah, it's gonna be. I know it's probably hard for a lot of Timberwolves fans to take a deep breath and get into these NBA finals, but it's gonna be a crazy series. Mavericks, Celtics. Celtics have been the best team in the league, maybe for multiple years in the regular season, and then we saw that buzzsaw of Luka and Kyrie. So it stings to have to watch it because you're just thinking about the what if. But this is a window that's opening. It's not, Ant is 22. He's got the Olympic run coming up here to sharpen even more. Positive Phil is still lingering here for you guys.
He doesn't appear convinced.
David does not want to hear from Positive Phil right now.
David's like, shut up, Positive Phil.
No.
Enough from Positive Phil.
I have a question for the sports dad.
Yes, my sports son.
I was at my nephew's baseball game the other day, and an uncle of mine, he wanted to know what the best way to lose some weight was. If you would be willing to tell us.
But that's no problem at all, because it's, of course, my friends from Livia Weight Control Centers, who helped me back in the day, drop 40 pounds, felt great, looked great, and it was as simple as could be. And if Sports Dad can do it, so can you. So you tell that uncle, you tell him right now, Sports Dad spells weight loss, Livea.
You put a quarter in Judd, and he'll just talk about anything, Judd, tell the audience your favorite place to get a beer. No, don't do that. All right, let's talk about predictions here. David, you're first out of the gate. We'll go David, over to Judd, over to Declan, back to Phil. 3 trips around the room. Get us started here, David.
Write it down. You like writing things down.
So I came in here with absolutely zero preparation. So I'm going to be firing from the hip the whole time. So for this upcoming NBA season, I think Ant is going to average at least 30 points per game and at least 8 rebounds per game.
I like the rebound. I mean, the scoring should continue to tick up as he gets into his prime. He does feel like a 30 points per game scorer. But he has discovered throughout the playoffs, there's another level to his rebounding. And then he also, I think, seeing Luka go around and just easily pick up triple doubles and grab 10, 12, 15 rebounds. He sees that in front of him and probably thinks to himself, well, why I can do that? Why can't I go out and get 30 points and 12 rebounds? So,
write it down. You like writing things down.
Yeah. Okay, Judd, your first prediction.
All right, Sports Dad's first write that down is going to be very simple with the NHL, the Stanley Cup Finals coming up starting later this week. The Florida Panthers will beat the Oilers.
The Cats.
So the Florida Panthers will win. I believe this is their 3rd trip to the Cup Finals, their 2nd consecutive. They have yet to win one. They will end that streak. And yes, the state of Florida is the state of hockey because Tampa Bay and the Panthers are really, really good.
Well, did you see I forget who wrote it, but every Stanley Cup final, I think 8 of the last 9 Stanley Cup finals have featured a team that doesn't have an income tax in their state.
Oh,
so
no, I didn't
for your
see that.
salary cap building and
Vegas.
signing players and not having them to pay as many taxes, Florida, who has obviously been there a ton with Tampa Bay and now the
Vinny's
Panthers.
going to move.
Vinny is getting a good little scratch into his ear.
Going to Houston right now.
And then Vegas has been there. Obviously, Nevada,
Yep.
there's no income tax. There's like this maybe this next new loophole is no income tax to build a Stanley Cup team.
How do we feel if you're a TV executive? How do we feel about an Edmonton, Florida Stanley Cup final?
It's the longest possible flight.
'Cause we could have had
in the
New
NHL.
York.
Yeah.
Could have had New York, Dallas.
First of all, you never obviously want a Canadian team because you lose a market then because it's not in your country. The McDavid factor helps a little bit because there will be a curiosity. But as you just said, I think what hurts them is, let's see, the Rangers or the Panthers.
Yeah.
I think they would have taken, I think the Rangers Oilers, which essentially would have been the Rangers McDavid, might have been pretty attractive because there's star power then at least.
Yeah, you could say like best player in the modern NHL versus biggest market. Yeah, there's a lot of fun stories there.
Write it down. You
All right,
like writing
Dex.
things down.
All right, I'm going to make another Pablo Lopez prediction. I'm not going to account for the last start, which I believe was technically on May 31st. I don't think that happened. Let me double check here.
It was in May. Was that what
it was
you're
the
going
last
for?
day in May, right?
Yeah.
So write this down. Pablo Lopez will have a 3 ERA or lower in the month of June. I think Pablo turns things around here.
Pablo
So,
month.
3 ERA or a sub. I was going to say sub 3 ERA, but I didn't want to get burned if it was 3.00. So 3.00 or lower ERA in the month of June.
Okay.
Write it down. You like writing things down.
Write this down. I'm going to go some Twins positivity here too. Royce Lewis is not done hitting home runs on this road trip. I told you he'd hit one in the first game back. He has, 5 games left on this road trip? Royce Lewis will hit another home run, at least another home run on the road trip. I thought about predicting Royce Lewis will bat 1,000 for the season, but
I thought you were going to go
I think
more.
it's going to continue.
He might hit 3 more because they're going from the Yankees to Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I mean, he's not going to hit a home run every game. I know that's the expectation he has set
No,
here.
I think he might hit a couple more. Yeah, that's late. You're going late.
I'd
You
love
don't
to
trust
go to
Royce enough.
Pittsburgh,
Write
man.
it down. You like
It's been like
writing things down.
on my top 3 ballparks to go see.
I guess it's gorgeous.
Yeah.
It looks great on TV. It does. David, what's your second prediction?
So I'm gonna go the baseball route for this one. So my baseball fandom has kind of been weird because I started out way back in the day with Alfonso Soriano on the Cubs,
Oh, yeah.
and I've been a Cubs fan ever since. But ever since I started following the Vikings as well, I've been kind of a default Twins fan too. So for this one, I'm going to combine my 2 teams, and I'm going to say negative David here. We're going the Twins and the Cubs are going to finish with 85 or fewer wins.
So the Twins or the Cubs will finish with 85 or fewer wins, as we said?
I'm saying both of them.
Both will.
Oh,
Both
and,
will. Okay. Dejected David coming in with his prediction here. Okay. I also ride with Twins and Cubs in my lifetime. But once the Cubs won the World Series in 2016, my emotional attachment is much less. Like if they have a bad season, I don't really
Write this down.
care like I did in 2003 when they had a 3-1 lead on the Marlins, for instance. Don't have to talk about that. Yeah, Bartman. Jeb, what's your second
Poor
prediction?
Steve Bartman. My second prediction is that Edoaurd Julien will return to the Twins in July. So I think he's going to get a month to get right. I think he will get right. Because he's, as we talked about with Trevor Plouffe on Tuesday, he's there to get in certain work and to work on certain things. So I think you will next see Eddie Julien back in July.
Okay. The Dexter.
Write this down.
All right. They won again yesterday, but eventually it has to stop, right? They're just not going to win 110 games. The Cleveland Guardians, that is.
Never know.
And you'd like to think, with a large homestand coming up for the Twins here, that they can eventually start to close this gap. So also by July 1st, write this down, the Twins will be at least 3 games back in the Central. They will trim some of this fat away. They went, I believe, winning 8 of 11 games, maybe 9 of 12. And in that 9 of 12 that they won, they gained exactly a half game on Cleveland by winning 9 of 12, which is insane because Cleveland keeps winning ball games. So I will say eventually, throughout this month, Cleveland will finally cool off. The Twins will remain consistent, and they'll be at least 3 games back in the AL Central by July 1st.
This feels a little bit like the 2001 season in reverse, where like the Twins were way hotter than they should have been for the first 3 or 4 months of the year, and then they tapered back off. And the Indians at the time were the more veteran team with some pillar players, and they tracked the Twins down in like July, August, September. I could see that happening
Write this down.
in reverse here. Okay, on the Twins, write this down. The Twins will trade at least one of their top 10 prospects by the trade deadline, and we'll use MLB.com as the ranking. They will trade one of their top 10 prospects by the deadline.
The only thing I just need clarification on is they always kind of like update the prospect rankings throughout the season. So are you saying as of today's prospect top 10 list, like let's say they update the list on July 1st?
Whatever the list is at the time of the trade is fine.
Okay. I just wanted to be sure.
Yeah, whatever, like what on the day of the trade, if they trade their ninth best prospect, Keyshaw or whoever,
Sure.
then that's where we're gonna
Write this down.
lock it in. Okay, back to David for your third and final prediction.
Okay. I'm going to circle back to my favorite Minnesota team, which is the Vikings. I'm going to say, let's see. I don't want to go too negative because I feel like I've already been negative enough, but gosh. It just stems back from 2009 and then 2015 and then 2017 because I feel like I have to be negative because it's always going to be bad. But let's see. I'm going to say J.J. McCarthy's first game as a Minnesota Viking will be against the Titans this year.
Okay. And remind me, what week on the schedule is Titans? That's after the bye, right? That's like later on.
Yeah.
Okay. So J.J. McCarthy making his debut against the Titans. David, appreciate you jumping on here, making your predictions after a 3-year hiatus. Since you've got this life-changing platform again, is there anyone in your life you'd like to thank that helped you get to this pinnacle moment?
Well, first of all, I want to thank you three because you got me through college. I just graduated from Appalachian State a couple weeks ago.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
I want to thank you three. I want to thank also Jeremiah Searles and Alex Boone for the O-line committee, which is one of the greatest shows on YouTube.
I'll relay the message to those guys.
Yes, sir. And then I want to thank my mom, my brother, and my niece and nephew for just always being there throughout my journey. And now it's on to law school.
Nice.
And hopefully, instead of just lawyer Chase, you'll have lawyer David in the future.
Wow, it's going to be
perfect.
We're going to have like the offices of Chase, David, and Judd or something. I don't know.
No. I will not be involved in that. But that's great. Congratulations. That's awesome.
Yeah, congrats to you, David. Stay in touch. We'll get you on again sometime soon, all right?
Sounds good. Thank you.
There he is, guest listener, predictor, David. Before we make the rounds again here and get our final predictions, speaking of lawyer friends, maybe it's the offices of David, Chase, and Nicolay. Nicolay Law is here as the exclusive personal injury law firm of SKOR North Podcast to help you get the compensation you deserve after an accident. So Russell Nicolay and his crew are proud to live in and serve the communities around the Twin Cities. They're just normal folks who happen to have law degrees here to help you when you've been injured, when life stops. Get Minnesota's local award-winning injury lawyers at nicolaylaw.com or give them a call at 1-855-NICOLAY. And a shout-out to our friends over at Dennis Kirk as well, helping to power this Write That Down episode. Dennis Kirk and DennisKirk.com for over 185,000 parts, apparel, and accessories for motorcycles, ATVs, UTVs, dirt bikes, snowmobiles, and more. All the top brands, same-day shipping, and free shipping on orders over $89. They also have financing plans available as low as 0% for up to 12 months. So check them out. DennisKirk.com. DennisKirk.com. Okay, back to Judd for your third and final prediction.
All right. The Atlanta Falcons will lose a first or second round pick for tampering with Kirk Cousins.
Tampering. That's
Yeah,
supposed to come down this week, isn't it?
Yeah, Schefter indicated it was going to, but I think it's going to be. Now, I do not think the Vikings will benefit. I do not think the Vikings will get a damn thing, but I do think the Falcons will lose a first or second round pick. So I think it'll be a high draft pick.
So, okay, obviously, like, Purple Daily was very much ready to say goodbye to Kirk Cousins, but that doesn't matter. He was the Vikings quarterback. The Vikings were engaged in actively looking to bring him back. At least that's what they were putting out.
Yep.
So the Falcons stepping in during an exclusive negotiating window, like up until the legal tampering period, it is an exclusive negotiating window for the Vikings.
Yes.
If the Falcons interfered with that window, don't the Vikings deserve some sort of compensation?
When you go through the history of this, though, or ordinarily, so the compensation that went back and forth for Philadelphia or for Arizona tampering with Jonathan Gannon was agreed to by the two teams. There's not a lot of precedent for agreements. So the league just comes in and brings the hammer down, but they don't reward the team or compensate the team is a better word. But yeah, and I think part of the problem too is even during the legal tampering period, it sounds like the Falcons were doing things that you can't do. Like you can't contact the player during that time.
Yeah.
So like you could talk to the agent, but you can't like be poking and prodding the player's Achilles tendon during that time. So they're definitely guilty of something here. And Schefter indicated in the report that it sounds like the Falcons are going to get hit harder than the Eagles are for Saquon Barkley, and it sounded like they tampered with Saquon.
Interesting. I guess maybe it's worth it for the Falcons if they think that they found their. But then again, like they don't really think they found their quarterback because they drafted Penix. Yeah.
Completely one of the most baffling things I've seen.
Write that down.
Okay, Dex.
All right, write this down. I'll make an NBA prediction. I know Duke said yesterday that Kenny Atkinson is the favorite to get the Cleveland Cavaliers job. And by the way, you talk about jaw lines. Go look at Kenny Atkinson's jaw. Looks like it could hurt somebody. It is.
He does those like those mouth muscle workouts.
Oh my God, it's terrifying. But Timberwolves assistant Micah Nori is planning to interview for that job. He is an Ohio native too. Micah is. So write this down. Micah Nori will get the Cleveland Cavaliers head coaching job.
Oh wow, we're going there.
I'm gonna go there. I want and home run prediction. I take it right. Is this a home run? Even though he's interviewing, Kenny Atkinson looks like he's probably going to get it. He's probably going to get it. But I'm going to say Micah Nori is going to surprise a little bit. He's going to get this head coaching job. Awesome career path too for Micah Nori. What a hilarious baseball head coach, baseball hitting coach, athletic director, unreal quote, like a great quote machine, and also a really good basketball coach. So I think he gets the Cavs job.
Yeah.
Write it down.
Yeah, he's probably impressive in the room because he's a funny guy, personable. I'll make a Wolves prediction here too. So they do have, contrary to what all of the doom and gloomers after the Rudy Gobert trade said, where they don't have any first-round picks ever again. No, they traded every other year first-round picks through 2029, and this is one of the years where they get a first-round pick. It's like the 27th overall pick. So write this down. The Timberwolves will draft a point guard in 2024. The Timberwolves will draft a point guard. Write it down. There's a couple interesting options. I was on the Ringer's latest mock draft. There's the Colorado point guard who shot 43% from three last. Now he's 6 feet tall. He's a little small. But there's some guys late in the first round that you could tab to maybe be a replacement for Mike Conley at some point. So write it down. All right, dudes. Those are the Write That Down predictions. Every single Wednesday here on Minnesota Sports with Mackie and Judd, the SKOR North YouTube channel, the only show in America with the cojones to put statistics next to our predictions. See you guys.